many, many years. All the respective agencies have had one part or another in that task force for about 20 years. But what we saw was a really increase in demand for this type of investigation and prosecution. It's just over the last 20 years quadrupled, to say the least, in the amount of cases that we're seeing. We saw both the Frederick County Sheriff's Office and the Frederick Police Department, as well as MSP, bringing more and more cases to our office for prosecution, and more heinous cases for that matter. So we got together. We felt like it was appropriate to execute a memorandum of understanding, really to enhance public awareness of their efforts, because you'll hear from them individually in a moment. Those efforts are very proactive in what they're doing, and we're really excited about that and excited to be a part of that as well. Another thing that we hope to do through this press conference, as well as this executing our memorandum of understanding, is to really hold these offenders more accountable and get our courts to hold them more accountable as well. Oftentimes these cases are seen as probation types of cases, but we all know child pornography cases, especially traveler cases, are cases that involve children, real children, whether they're being taken advantage of at a local hotel or being taken advantage of by being photographed or videotaped. And so we really want to see tougher sentences for these types of offenders. And then finally, what we hope to do is coordinate with federal authorities who are also here today in terms of what we call flip letters. They're federal letters of intent to prosecute, and essentially what they enable us to do as state prosecutors is get tougher sentences in lieu of federal prosecution. So that's a little bit from me, Charlie Smith, the state's attorney. We'll be the lead agency on this, of course, because we have jurisdiction throughout the county and the city, as well as in the municipalities. But that's going to be for purposes of prosecution and for purposes of managing the task force. You'll hear from each of the individual agencies right now in terms of what they're going to do in terms of their investigation of these cases as well. So again, I just want to thank you all. Hold your questions off probably until the end of the press conference, so that each of these guys can be heard in terms of their individual efforts. At the conclusion of it, we'll execute the MOU. We have a copy here today. And from my agenda, I see that I'm going to turn the podium over to Sheriff Chuck Jenkins.
Thank you, Charlie. Good morning. I'll be very brief, but I look at this formalization process as being very beneficial to the citizens of Frederick County in terms of how we approach these crimes. I know the Sheriff's Office has been dedicated to address, investigate, and bring about successful prosecutions in child pornography, child exploitation, and especially since we have these federal partnerships involved. Our federal partner is Homeland Security Investigation, and again, the resources they bring in to assist us only enhances our ability to bring these cases forth. And again, we've dedicated pretty much 3 full-time investigators, the technical resources, everything we can bring to the table to address this problem that only worsens every single day. So I look forward to the task force model. It's worked under several other umbrellas, so I see no reason why this can't be very successful. Thank you.
Good morning, Ed Hargis, Chief of Police for Frederick Police Department. I just want to say that this task force model is definitely all the law enforcement agencies and the prosecutors from the state's attorney's office working together to bring these individuals to get them apprehended and bring them to trial. I do want to say that the Frederick Police Department, we do have 2 specially trained detectives that work on these types of cases in conjunction with the FBI and Homeland Security investigations. And on top of that, I know we talked about, our state's attorney, Charlie Smith, talked about awareness program, which is really what I think this needs to go, is because the internet, there's a lot of good positives coming out of the internet, but it gives direct access to the children in your homes. And if you don't keep track of what your kids are getting online and who they're talking to, that leads to some of these criminal investigations. So I think it's very important for parents to really focus in on what their children are doing online, on the computer, on their smartphones. And so I'm hoping that the awareness program goes out there. We can educate the public better what to look out for, how to protect themselves, how to protect the children. And again, we'll all work together to make it a safer community. Thank you.
Matt Kale, Lieutenant.
Good morning, Lieutenant Matthew Kale, Maryland State Police Commander of the Technical Investigation Section. I would like to thank Frederick County State's Attorney Charlie Smith for inviting us out to this news conference today. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much. You've been a friend and advocate to the state police in fighting cyber crime. State police investigating technology facilitated crime for the past 20 years. Since the internet does not recognize boundaries, one of the leading roles of the State Police Computer Crimes Unit is to combat cross-jurisdictional crime related to the internet. Since 2000, the State Police continues to lead one of the 61 national ICAC task force programs. As part of the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force program, State Police work in coordination with local law enforcement, the state's attorney's offices, federal law enforcement, and the United States Attorney's Office to combat child exploitation. With over 50 affiliates in Maryland, in which the State Police has a memorandum of understanding to investigate online exploitation, law enforcement from all corners of Maryland continue to be trained and equipped to investigate these horrific crimes. Since 2006, the State Police has had a memorandum of understanding with the Frederick County State's Attorney's Office, Frederick County Sheriff's Office, and the Frederick Police Department. Sheriff Jenkins and Chief Hargis, thank you very much for your continued support, and State's Attorney Smith, thank you. We look forward to that continued effort. It is through this combined hard work of all Maryland law enforcement that we work together to successfully locate, identify, and prosecute those who want to exploit children. The State Police looks forward to the continued support of these agencies, and thank you very much for your continued efforts.
Thank you, Lieutenant.